Hey there, Fletcher All Things Overlanding here, and today I'm going to be testing out this Sunster toolbox style diesel heater. It has quite a few nice features built into it, and I'm going to kind of show you the form factor of this thing and try and give you as much information as possible so you can decide if this is something that might work for you. So if you want to learn more about the Sunster diesel heater, stay tuned.
Where it came from, but you got it, I got it. It began in the land of the sandstorm. I fought it, though I wanted everything to do with what you give to me.
All right, so today I'm going to be testing this Sunster diesel heater. It is starting to get a little bit dark here. The sun's going down, so when it gets darker and later tonight and colder, it's about 30 right now. It's going to get down into the teens or the 20s tonight, Fahrenheit. Then I'm going to be testing this thing out. I'm going to be using it to heat up my whole tent. Now, obviously, this is not the tube that came with it. They all come with this sort of harder, more rigid tube, which I'll show you here in a second. I definitely recommend, and I will put a link to this insulated dryer vent duct tube. I use these on all my diesel heaters. They just make it way easier. They're way longer. They're way more flexible, and they're insulated, so it retains more of the heat when it's blowing up into your tent. But I'm going to show you everything that comes with this thing. I'm going to show you all the features of it. It has a really nice form factor with this toolbox style. It's got a little spot up here for your controller. You can also control it via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. And then it's got the little control panel here, but then it also comes with an extension, so you can, bring this up into your tent if you want to hardwire it in, say, an RV or something, or if you want to be able to move it up into your tent and have full control via the wired panel, you can do that as well. So I'm going to open this thing up. I'm going to show you everything. I'm going to talk about all of the features of it. And then again, tonight when it gets darker, we're going to run it, and I'm going to let you know how it does. So this thing is the Sunster diesel heater. So you'd really want to make sure that you want something that's this size, and I will throw the dimensions up on the screen. It does have a 6-liter fuel tank in it, so it holds quite a bit of fuel. And they say that it uses about 0.16 to about 0.45-ish liters of fuel per hour. So with a 6-liter tank, on the high end, if you're running it at the top, it is an 8-kilowatt heater, so it will go through fuel a little bit faster than, say, a 5-kilowatt. Then you could go through about a half a liter an hour, which would give you about 12 hours of runtime. So again, we're going to use it tonight, and I'm probably going to use it for about 13 or 14 hours because it's really cold here, and my fire is not doing much to keep me warm. So I may be in bed at like 8 o'clock, and then I'm going to sleep until 8 or 9 o'clock tomorrow morning probably. So we're definitely going to be testing it out tonight, and again, I will let you know how it does. But just talking about features and stuff, this is your output tube. Again, I replaced the stock tube that came with it with this one, and there will be a link in the description below. You get a pretty standard exhaust and muffler. They just slide on, no threading or anything like that, so it's really quick and easy to install. And then this is your intake over here, and I really like what they did here. This is a non-tubed intake, so you don't need to run a tube with a filter on the end or anything for the intake. They just put it away from the exhaust, so you don't have to worry about it, and it's all built into the box. So that's kind of nice that you don't have to worry about it or hook anything else up. So basically, it's your output tube and your exhaust, and then plug it in, and you're done. Now I'm using this 100 amp hour Dynas battery. Then it has, this positive and negative. You can run this off 12 volts or 24 volts. I'm going to be running it off 12. So one thing I like about it is that it uses the sort of standard plug. If you've messed with diesel heaters before, the majority of them take this plug, and almost all portable refrigerators also take the same plug. So if I wanted to unplug my refrigerator and just plug in my diesel heater, I could do that without having to run a separate cord and a separate battery, because that plugs into my house battery. So just a nice thing that it makes it interchangeable with things like your refrigerator. So in the winter, when you don't need your fridge as much, you could swap your cord without having to rewire anything or have 2 cords wired and run this thing off that. Now the app itself, full transparency, not great. I'm not loving the app a ton. I pretty much couldn't get the Bluetooth to connect to it, but with this 8-kilowatt, I am not concerned about it. I'm probably just going to set it on the lowest setting and turn it on and just let it run all night. So that is my plan. But if you are big into apps and you want to use the app, then that is something to think about. You can download it and you kind of play with it, but I didn't love the app. But having this controller is plenty fine for me. I mean, I can just reach out the window up here and I could just zap it down here if I wanted to turn it on or off or up or down. But if you can get the app to work, then you could, preheat your tent when you're sitting over at the fire, which is a nice feature too. So that is a nice thing to have. again, I just had a little bit of trouble getting it to work. So now let's open it up. This is basically a cover for your exhaust port. So when you're done with this and you pull this tube off the next morning, you can put this in it just to keep debris from getting in there. But then the way that this works is, again, it's just like a toolbox with a built-in diesel heater. So you've got two little straps over here that you can undo. And then you open this up and you've got access to everything. I like that you could service this if you wanted to. Like, you've got full access to the diesel heater and the fuel tank. They're basically right there. That's also how you fill the fuel. So when you close it, you do want to make sure that the cord gets out of the way, and you kind of have to make sure that it closes all the way or these latches won't go. Like, there's like a little lip on the inside of it. So you just have to make sure that's closed. But then aside from that, that's pretty much it. So now we're just going to wait for it to get dark and colder, and then we're going to be running this thing, and I will comment on how it did overnight. All right, so it's about 8 o'clock. I'm firing up the diesel heater. Pretty easy to operate. Now, I just used the manual switcher here. So basically, you've got a down arrow and an up arrow, which you can use to adjust the temperature. I'm just going to turn it to minimum and just see what that does. So again, you've got like up and down levels, and then you've got a thermostat type temperature. But my problem with the thermostat thing is I don't have a thermostat up in the tent, so I don't really want to do the thermostat version. I just want to turn it down as low as possible so it'll run as long as possible. And I imagine even at low, it's going to put out a ton of heat, like most of these diesel heaters do. I can already feel the warm air starting to go through here. I just want to get you guys an idea of the volume. Not putting out a ton of exhaust or like white smoke like you see with some of these, so that's a good sign. Again, really you just hear the fan is all that you hear. Yeah, I can definitely feel air moving through here. So I'm just gonna wait a little bit to see. Oh yeah, it's definitely warming up. See how warm it gets, because I may want to bump it up. Now I can also take this remote up to the tent, and then that way I don't have to get back down again. I can hit plus and minus. So you can see I hit plus, plus, and it's going up. So I can adjust it with the remote. So I may bring the remote up just to be safe, just so I don't have to get back down if I don't want to. And then we'll just let this go. But oh yeah, there's definitely nice warm air flowing through there right now. So I'm gonna get up in the tent and tell you guys what I think, but the air is flowing up there and it is really cold. It's about 28 degrees right now. I've been sitting by the fire, but the fire wasn't really warm enough. So now I'm gonna go get up in the tent and let the diesel heater heat me up. So yeah, we'll see how this Sunster does. All right, so just wanted to give you a quick update. I am in the tent now. The air is blowing nice and warm. Feels fantastic. I've already taken my coat off, so I'm just gonna give it a few minutes to kind of warm up this tent, because the tent is a pretty good sized tent. Like, there's actually quite a bit of space in here, but yeah, the air from there feels fantastic. I mean, it's so nice and warm. So I think in about 5 or 10 minutes, this should be nice and warm in here, but really wanted to give you guys an idea of what it sounds like. So you just kind of hear the faintest of like the sound of the fan. But like, I can't hear the fuel pump at all. You just hear kind of a, like just the sound of the fan blowing air. But it is surprisingly quiet. Like, it's actually really quiet. And again, I've got it turned almost all the way down. I think I bumped it up to like level 2 or 3 out of like 10 or 12. But I mean, this air feels fantastic. I can already tell, like, in the next few minutes, it's going to be nice and warm in here, especially if I'm kind of thinking of throwing my blanket kind of over it so that all that hot air is going under the blanket where I'm going to be laying here. And that's kind of my plan. But I will report back. I'm assuming that this will get through the night based on their fuel calculations. Like, turned all the way up, you should still get 12 hours. So I have no problem thinking that we should get through the whole night with plenty of fuel left. But I will report back tomorrow morning and let you know how much fuel is left. All right, guys, so it's the next morning. It's been just about 12 hours. It's just about 8 a.m. and I ran this since 8 p.m. last night. All right, so I'm just going to use the remote to turn it off. I'm just going to hit the off button. You're going to see it stop heating. You always want to do this. You never want to just unplug it and hard shut it down. As you hear here, it's going to go through a whole cool down phase. It's going to allow it to properly cool down, make sure that none of your components get damaged from, you know, just turning it off or unplugging it. So anyways, we're just gonna let that run through. It should just take a minute or two. I'm gonna put the remote back in here, and then we're gonna be good to go, and we'll check the fuel. All right, so that is our fuel consumption. Again, I had it probably turned up to the 3rd bar, and I ran it for right at 12 hours, and I would say probably used about 3/4 of the tank, if I had to guess. It's not bad, but it will definitely get you, I would say, you know, even on that 3rd setting, it'll probably get you 15 hours or so, if I had to guess. So not too shabby. Pretty standard usage, I would say, but not bad. And another thing is, with this cap, I didn't have to loosen it or do anything. I did have it in the inside of the truck, and it didn't leak at all or anything either, so just another note from transporting it. But yeah, probably about 3/4 of a tank for 12 hours. And it's 20s here. So hopefully that was helpful for you. If it was, click that like button. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to click the subscribe button. I do a couple videos every week, so there's tons of content here, especially for newer overlanders. If you're looking for just simple stuff like this, like how do I set up? What should I bring? What do I need? Do I really need all this stuff or not? Right? You don't necessarily need all the stuff that you think you do when you go camping, right? Start with the basics. So again, on this channel, I walk you through a lot of that stuff. So if that sounds good, hit that subscribe button. Also below this video is a link to my website where I've got funny overlanding camping themed patches and stickers. So if you're into that stuff, definitely check those out. Actually dropping a new design here in early 2026. So be on the lookout for that. Also below this video is a join button, which is just sort of a passive way to support the channel, get you early access to the videos and the podcasts that I do and some other perks. So if that sounds good, check that out. But if you want to be more involved with all things overlanding, there's also a link to my Patreon page. And on the Patreon, we have a 24/7 Discord where we chat with each other all the time. We do a once-a-month Zoom call, and we're getting together a couple times a year, which has been a ton of fun. So we've been to Land Between the Lakes down in Kentucky. We've camped in Hoosier National Forest this winter and done a winter camp out. So there's just a ton of fun to be had in the Patreon group, and we'd love to have you. And then last but not least, there is the Newbie Overlanders Facebook group. Now, this group is totally free to join. 28,000 plus people in it at the point that I'm recording this video. Tons of awesome people. Great questions every day. No bullying like the big groups. So if you're looking for something like that where you can ask questions and learn or help newer folks, that may be a good place for you, and we'd love to have you, so check it out. Hopefully that was helpful, but drop your thoughts in the comments down below, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.